It is officially the first night of pay-per-view wrestling when it comes to WrestleMania week. Because do we really count Raw as a wrestling show? No. But what we were able to see was the final night of the Wednesday Night Wars. And after this video's up, you'll see my AEW Dynamite review because I did watch both while filming a podcast. That is dedication, my friend. But we cannot have a review show without our special guest coming back. Please welcome Skyler.
Hello. Glad to be
How
back.
has your WrestleMania week been so far? I know we're only 3 days in, but how's it been?
It's been good. I barely watched Raw, and what I read, glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I watched documentaries instead.
You really didn't miss much when it came to that. Did you tune into the Hall of Fame last night?
No, and that's because you can't fast forward, and I didn't want to watch the Bella twins speech. So I'm waiting so I can skip it.
There are some good speeches in there. It's a little bit rushed, but I do recommend everybody actually checking out. WWE actually did release Molly Holly's full 10-minute speech, not the 2-minute thing they showed due to time. So if you're on Twitter, I liked it. So if you want to go under my likes on Twitter, I liked it. So watch that. It was a beautiful speech. I wish we could have seen the whole thing. But that's kind of my round of the Hall of Fame. Let's go to the pre-show match that they announced a couple days ago. Zoe Starks versus Toni Storm, and Zoe Starks gets the upset here. This was a really fun match to kick off the night, especially where night 2 I feel like is the more important night for NXT Takeover, because that's where really everything is on the line. It's more of the matches that I'm looking forward to. But this was a fun way to kick off the night, especially with an upcomer like Zoe Starks getting a huge win over someone like Toni Storm. And I really don't know what we do with Storm next. Is she gonna move up? Is she gonna stay in NXT and feud with our new women's champion that we just crowned about 10 minutes ago? What did you like about this?
I liked how it was slow and then got fast paced. I love that they showed out Zoe, how she showed her moves, and like how she worked pretty well with Toni. There was a few spots where it was kind of like but like overall it was really good. I'm really excited to see how Zoe goes in the future. And with Toni, I don't know, like, because they're not gonna have two heels versus each other. So
Well, is Raquel technically still a heel? I feel like she's a face.
I think she's a heel. Everyone booed.
Oh, I was on the phone. And I had AEW in the background, so I really didn't hear the crowd. But Izzy was saying that the crowd was definitely hot tonight, because I think this is the biggest crowd they've had in the CWC.
Pandemic.
And that goes around for all week too. Tomorrow, Mania with apparently 25,000 people. Whether you all think that's safe or not is your own opinions.
We won't have video game cheering and booing. I'm so excited.
Oh, if you tune into the Hall of Fame, that ruined the whole ceremony.
Oh, I read that. I was like, oh no.
That simultaneous laughter was just not it for me. But I'm really hoping they do something with Toni Storm, just because like she is so talented and we've seen her. She's a Mae Young Classic winner. She's held the NXT UK Women's Championship. She's had really good matches with the likes of Rhea Ripley, who, as we've seen on Sunday, she's going after that Raw Women's Championship. She had a stellar match at WrestleMania last year as well. So I'm really hoping they find something for Toni, whether it be a small filler feud within NXT, especially with it moving to Tuesday nights, or even her moving to Raw to fix the whole division, as I've been saying for 6 months, or even her going to the Blue Brand.
Or she can get a partner and go for the NXT titles.
She could also do that. Who her partner would be?
Yes.
What's Taya Valkyrie's new name?
Frankie Monet? It starts with an M. It's like an
I think it's Monet.
Yeah.
Because my dad's stream was ahead of mine, and he's like, who the hell is Frankie Monet? And I saw the dog, and I'm like, that's Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah. And you saw the tattoo. And her calves? Goals.
I don't know. That's what you get when you're married to Sean Morrison.
Yeah, you're right.
But kicking off the main card, which I thought was going to be a very technical matchup, was Pete Dunne and Kushida. And I thought night 1 was going to be more technical because you had a gauntlet, which was not really a gauntlet match, and I'll get to that rant. You had Walter and Ciampa, but you had a really, 3 tag teams that are very technical wrestlers, and none of these matches felt technical at all. They were so easy to get into, and I don't know, maybe because it was on the USA Network and they were very limited to time, which is why the women's match was so short compared to what it should have been for a main event.
Yeah.
But this match was really good.
I enjoyed it. You know, I love Pete Dunne. I will forever say that. You can go back in our old NXT videos, forever say Pete Dunne, my fave. Kushida, I actually liked him tonight. I actually enjoyed his wrestling, and I feel like him and Pete actually like connected really well.
That was good. um, to me, I don't know what you do with Kushida now, because even like we were talking on the BCP podcast a little bit, like they just really haven't used Kushida.
Yeah.
So for me, it made like I picked Pete Dunne obviously because Pete Dunne's been my dude since since the NXT UK tournament.
Yeah.
He's been my guy since day one. But to me, it made more sense like to try to push Kushida, but you're not pushing someone who's so talented, especially with the fanfare he's had in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I don't understand. And I like to me, like does Pete Dunne go after like whoever wins Gargano versus Bronson Reed?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what they're going with Pete Dunne. Like he's showing his strength and everything. I don't know what I hope it's an NXT title championship because he would be a good champion. He has not had that champion like a main championship
Since the UK title when he lost to Walter in NXT New York in 2019, and I was there. Oh wait, no, not 2019, 2018.
Yeah, the year before. But yeah, I I don't know. I would love to see him as champion. I feel like he would do so well.
I feel like too, like the whole thing, and I also said this on the BCP, like the whole thing with NXT Takeover is, especially is you have all these new eyes drawn to Tuesdays now because you're splitting up the Wednesday night wars because tonight was the last night. Gotta represent my good brothers over here. Thanks for making the shirt, Luke Gallows. I know you love that I bought it as I got that nice message from you. Cheap plug. But to me, it was all about these new faces coming out of this pay-per-view tonight and tomorrow. And this was a match I was like, oh my God, like this could be like a number one contender for the NXT championship or the NXT North American championship. But the winner of the gauntlet was not someone who I thought was going to win. And now I'm just like, what?
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Like, first of all, this was not a gauntlet.
No.
What was this?
I feel like when they ran out of time at the end and they just Eli Drake just came out really fast, I was like, that was not like 30, 60 seconds.
Well, I understand too, because like the gauntlet matches that we've seen on Raw, and I said this on my predictions to explain to my roommates, because we always do the gauntlet match once a year for the Elimination Chamber to get that person who's going to enter in last. It usually lasts an hour.
Yeah.
You couldn't have an hour tonight.
No.
Unless you were only going to stream it on Peacock, which you weren't going to do because, again, your last hurrah to win the Wednesday Night Wars.
I watched on Peacock.
Oh, I watched on Peacock too.
Cool.
But also, if NXT doesn't win the ratings tonight, that's really bad. Hey, Brian Alvarez has his last moment tomorrow.
Yeah.
With ratings, his last moment. So Brian Alvarez, please take your time to like send your sinceres and stuff. But this to me, I like if you were gonna do the gauntlet match like this, just call it a fatal 6-way.
Yeah, it was.
Or
yeah,
I know we have a ladder match tomorrow. You could have done a 6-way ladder match.
Yeah. It just it really did feel like a 6-way match. And like I'm okay with that, but if it was a gauntlet match, it should have been 1 by 1, like how it normally is.
Because they've had the rules up on the pre-show.
Yeah.
And I figured it was just gonna be like a regular gauntlet match. And like I said, I was recording a podcast, which I think is getting released tomorrow. It's the Mania predictions. There's me and Bill Bodkin go on rants, so check that out. But I remember like looking at it, and the only rule I said was like every 3 minutes someone new comes out. And I'm like, what do you mean every 3 minutes someone new comes out? This isn't the Elimination Chamber or the Rumble.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
That's not a gauntlet. Like it just.
And the winner for me, so I obviously Dexter Lumis, storyline wise, makes so much sense.
Yes.
To me, LA Knight made sense because he's already a big star.
Mm-hmm.
What a takeover debut than to have him in a probably very, very good match with Johnny Gargano on night 2.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I was like, when Dexter Lumis got eliminated, I was like, oh, they're surprising us, but then my brain was like, oh, I know who's gonna win, but I'm like, what? That does not make sense. Like everyone wanted Dexter Lumis. Everyone wanted to see Johnny Gargano versus Dexter. I feel like that would have been a good NXT WrestleMania week match. Like, good for Bronson. Like, he's really good. Like, he can fly, like, for a big man, and I'm like amazed by him. But it just didn't make sense.
The final two didn't make sense. Isaiah Swerve.
I
Like, okay, if you like the pin too, like when LA Knight pinned both Grimes and Loomis, I thought Grimes got eliminated too. So I was like, why is Grimes still here? What?
I don't
So
know. It was a mess.
I mean, I like the idea and I like the creativeness of like, like night one, night two, like that's really why you do the night one, night two stuff to take advantage of it. But like this just didn't make sense to me.
No.
Because I picked Gargano to lose the title, and I really don't see Gargano losing to Bronson Reed.
No. I mean, if he does, where does that land Johnny?
Because there's not really much you can do, and I know you're not going to bring the entire way up to the main roster.
No. Because there's still two of them are still learning.
Yeah, and that's your main thing on NXT right now is the way.
Yeah.
So I understand new stars, but I was very lost.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
English
now,
is not my thing.
What?
I said, yeah. I said something that was like, yeah, that makes sense, right?
English. Then we had our NXT UK Championship match. And for someone being very technical like Walter, this wasn't that technical.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And I'm hearing rumblings that Walter may be moving to the States. And if that's true, don't do it. Stay in Austria.
Because no, I heard he didn't want to move from Austria. Like, he would go in the main roster, but he doesn't want to move from Austria.
Yes, but then my dad just told me, like, because like I said, I didn't watch the pre-show. It was on mute. Then my dad was saying that when he was in the interview with Joe, he said something about it. And the rumors are he's losing tomorrow on NXT UK Prelude. And if he's losing on NXT UK Prelude, why, like...
Then he debuts after WrestleMania?
Well, he would be in NXT. He wouldn't be on the main roster.
Oh, imagine.
So it would be on the Tuesday.
Him against Bobby Lashley? That I would enjoy.
That would you enjoy? You would enjoy
that? I would enjoy. Just because Walter is amazing.
No, I hate Walter. You know I hate Walter.
I
hate Imperium. Hate everything. Did you like this?
I did like it. I liked it a lot. It was very entertaining. I love this. I love the slaps. I love that his hand went through an announce table.
That was so funny. And they were just like halfway through the match. They were like, look, he broke the table.
I think it's great. I find Walter entertaining. And then they had Ciampa be like 2018 Ciampa again. And that was great storytelling. It told a great story. And that's what I love about this match.
He didn't look 100 years old.
No.
He didn't have his gray hair. I was like, oh, Triple H finally taught you how to shave your head? Oh God, did you see when Triple H was on the bump when COVID first started and he had all his hair when The Rock was on it? That's what I compared it to. And now, I swear, Hunter and Ciampa are secretly like father and son. I mean, Hunter and Ciampa have a very close relationship. Hunter and Ciampa have both been very open with that. Yeah. But now, like, they have similar hair, guys. Like, I know. I liked it. I mean, I really don't know what you do with Ciampa from here. And this is my problem with this match, just because Ciampa has very openly said his body cannot do what they do on the main roster. Yeah. So it looks like he might never take that jump, but he might always just stay within NXT. And there's nothing really for him to do because he's wrestled everyone.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay for a little bit and like wrestle for a little bit longer. I don't know what they're going to do, but because if he does get moved up to the main roster, he might be your producer. So he might have his, like, they might announce like his last match on NXT and everything.
Because he's young. Him and Rollins are the same age. He's only 35.
But like with it's the neck. That's the problem.
Oh no, I know it's the injuries, but I'm just comparing age.
This world can take it out on some people, man.
Hey, well, aren't we all still waiting for Paige to come back and have a miracle like Brian and Edge?
She's getting a scan. Watched her on Twitch, and she said she was getting a scan on her neck like this week or next week, and I'm just like praying.
7 years today.
I will never forget that night. I wasn't watching it, and then my dad told me Paige was on. I was like, "What?" And I was just turning the TV in my room. And I was jumping on my bed because I was so happy.
Me a year after when Rollins cashed in and had the heist of the century. There's triple threat for the tag team championships. So now I only had one problem. I love this match, but I had one problem with this. This was the reason Raquel and Io was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which sucks. I'm happy MSK won. Because they are so good. If you have not seen them in Impact as the Rascals, you missing out.
Yeah.
Because they are so good. They showed it tonight. They were literally back and forth, constantly, move after move after move after move. And I was like, oh my God, MSK, I know you're really young, but slow down. Whew. But the great back and forth action, great chemistry between all three teams, and all three teams really have different styles. Where MSK is kind of that high flying, Legado del Fantasma is really that like lucha libre, and Grizzled Young Veterans is very very technical because they have that UK style background. So to have three very different styles mesh the way they did was very shocking for me. But I really enjoyed it. I think Legado del Fantasma had a very good showing here for people who really don't wrestle. I mean, I don't watch NXT weekly, but from what I've seen, they don't wrestle that much without Santos. Mm-hmm. So that was a really good showing by them. And I'm really excited to see where the tag team division on NXT goes from here.
I agree with everything you said. I loved MSK tonight. They brought so much fire, the stamina they have. I honestly thought the Phantasma was winning, and I was like, no way, because that would be the biggest shock, you know? But the Grizzly Young Vets, amazing. Like, I actually like watching them wrestle, because even though they're technical, they have, like, they make it not just technical wrestling. And then, yeah, MSK winning almost brought me to tears, because I was like, oh, they were
crying.
So hard. They were. That's what gets me. Wrestling is the only thing that brings me to tears. I swear to God.
Hey, you're lucky you weren't in my house at the Royal Rumble 2019.
Oh yeah, no, I heard you. It's fine. I heard you.
You heard me 20 minutes away crying. And we go to our main event here, which I thought they were rushing this, and I felt so bad because this was a very pivotal story on NXT. This is the storyline that it actually ended NXT last week, which means they put so much time and effort into this. And to have the woman main event, the last time they did this on a takeover was with Bayley and Sasha, 2015, almost 6 years ago, which is insane. And I felt so bad. I really did. Because, like, I watched the bump this morning mainly for Izzy. What's up, girl? And Raquel was just so focused and so excited for this match. And for someone like her who was told on the first USA episode on NXT that she wasn't ready to go on TV. Triple H, they told the story today. She was supposed to be on. And it was like a couple days before. And Triple H and Shawn sat her down and said, you're not ready. We can't put you on TV yet.
And look at her now.
And almost a year later, a year and a couple months later, main eventing NXT Takeover and winning the title. And her just like I felt just so bad because the moment was so rushed. And you saw it, especially with you knew the skull, you knew Io was gonna jump off of it, and just the last 3 minutes were so rushed.
Yeah.
And it really took away from the match. To me, just based off that alone, the tag titles should have main evented.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think they worked with the time really well. They put out a lot because it wasn't slow. They put out a lot of good fast-paced moves, and it flowed really well. Like my attention was so focused on that. Even though it was really short, it was really fast. I think that's what made it good. You know what I mean? Because it was like all these near falls, so you're just on the edge of your seat. I had a feeling Raquel was gonna win, but I didn't think they were gonna do it. You know, I thought Io still was gonna be champion for a while. So
300 days. It's pretty good.
300? Honestly, it doesn't feel that long.
She won it at NXT in your house in June.
Oh my god.
In the triple threat with her, Rhea, and Charlotte.
Oh yeah, almost a year.
Maybe this is why they called me the encyclopedia today on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because they were like naming celebrities that were on WrestleManias. I was like, this was at this WrestleMania, this was at that one. They were like, oh my god, Kimmy, stop. And I'm like, y'all didn't know what WrestleMania was. Not my fault. I know Snooki wrestled at WrestleMania 27.
Which I loved.
I started watching WWE a year after that.
I was before you. I love that.
Congratulations. I still know more than most people.
I know.
But you and me are on the same level.
Yeah.
I'm getting you there. I just tell you very random statistics and you're like, oh my god, really? And I'm like, yeah.
And then my brain keeps it and I pass it along.
It's the learning tree.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of night one overall? Let's go 1 to 10.
I think, well, I give it a 9. I think the main roster has something to look to try to top. Even night 2, I feel like has to top, which I think it will, but I think the main roster needs to look at this. Like we say every year, because NXT always showcases more than the main roster.
So you mean NXT always stands and delivers?
Yes.
I love night one. I think that, like, for me personally, I don't know if I've said this in the beginning or I just told you this before we started recording. I'm just personally looking forward to night 2 because I feel like night 1, it was all like the technical, let's get it on TV. But Peacock, you have like those main matches that I'm very much looking forward to. But it started us off on a very good foot. I mean, besides the Gauntlet match, but that's but I liked all the matches. I think they were very fast paced. I think they fit everything. And for the last Wednesday Night Wars, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, you might have won the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. But I'm looking forward to night 2. So my question to you before we do shameless plugs and all that, what match are you looking forward to most tomorrow?
Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole unsanctioned match.
Do you think that Adam Cole is going to top his girlfriend's unsanctioned match on Dynamite?
No.
Ooh.
Britt is a DMD. She knows. Women rule over men.
Ooh. I'm also like, so I've seen them wrestle in Ring of Honor. I've seen this feud since 2016. If you've never seen Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly match ever, you guys have something to look forward to because those two can put on magic, whether Strong and Fish get involved as well. Who knows? Anything can happen, but you got to make sure to tune in tonight too. And before we get to everything else that's coming on this week, where can we follow you, my darling?
Skyler Nicole is, and then in between 5 under dashes, pretty sure 5, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
That was our night 1 review. After this, you'll have my AEW Dynamite review. I did watch both at the same time. It was very difficult. Do not recommend to a friend. I mean, I've done it before, but still. Also this week, you have my WrestleMania predictions with the one and only Kyle Masters, my BFF all the way up north in Canada. I bring him out of WWE retirement just for me, and we talk about everything WrestleMania, and there's some crying going on. I'm not going to tell you by who, but someone cries over a certain match because someone couldn't pick their favorite to win the match. Like I said, I'm not telling you who it is. Also on Friday, you're going to have our night 2 review. So we'll be back here in 24 hours from right now. Saturday, you'll have my SmackDown review, and hopefully Rollins has a very fine ass nice suit. Because if you saw his one last night at the Hall of Fame, it was burning. Literally and figuratively. No. Hey, it was all in flames. I mean, my mom compared him to a hot Cheeto, but my mom writes that part, not me. Sunday, you're gonna have our WrestleMania Night 1 review, and hopefully I'm sitting here saying that Rollins does win, and it goes against my prediction. I picked him. I picked Cesaro on both the podcast and my show, and I cried. So that just goes against everything I just said 2 minutes ago. So thank you. Monday, you'll have our night 2 review, and hopefully I'm telling you that we still have and still WWE World Heavyweight Champion, WrestleMania week. Have fun. There's a lot of wrestling. I'm also probably going to review NXT UK Prelude. And if you have nothing else to do on tomorrow before NXT, make sure to tune into East Coast Autograph Auctions on Facebook because I'm working with Sugar and Spice themselves, Brooke Adams, and Taryn Terrell, and on Friday with Chavo Guerrero. I know, we getting fancy. I might not be in Tampa, but I'm there in spirit.
Yes.
And Dallas, you might see us next year in Dallas. I don't know how we're going to film reviews there, but we're going to do it. Out. I'm just going to bring my camera. We're just going to vlog. Day 1. But that's it from us. Make sure to tune in for my AEW Dynamite review. All Elite? Did we turn heel? I think we did. Bye, guys.